Candace is in the 4th year of secondary school. Her grades have been average, and she has many interests, including knitting, playing the guitar, singing, dancing, fashion, and keeping a lizard as a pet. This year, facing the high school curriculum, she initially managed to get by, but after the midterm exams, her grades were much worse than expected. She started doubting her abilities and worrying about her performance in the public exams in over 2 years. Faced with uncertainty and pressure, she began to avoid them. Her class teacher, Wendy, noticed that Candace has fallen behind in her studies recently and even missed classes with excuses. After much effort, Wendy managed to talk to her. Wendy knew that the young girl had many hobbies, which is normal for teenagers still exploring themselves and the world. But time and energy are limited, and teenagers need to accumulate knowledge during the exploration, which means studying. In a situation where it's difficult to balance academics and multiple interests, Wendy wanted to understand Candace's thoughts. Candace believed that her studies were important, but she also didn't want to give up her interests, leaving her quite confused about the future. Wendy suggested options outside the mainstream educational path, such as not completing high school and instead enrolling in vocational-oriented courses. If these courses match Candace's personality and interests, it might be better than struggling with books. Before Candace could explore what those courses were, she asked, "What can I study to make money?" Wendy didn't think the student in front of her was solely focused on financial gain, and she responded with a compassion and standard answer of a teacher. First, don't think about money. Think about what makes you engaged. When you have something you can excel in, you should be able to make a living. Teachers always need to maintain an image of being caring, patient, tolerant of young people, and having a positive attitude towards the world. When counseling students, they can't be brutally honest. So, let me be blunt here. In terms of studying a course, actually, no subject can guarantee you make money. Studying equips people with knowledge and skills, and specific knowledge and skills can lead to a career, even a profession that can yield substantial profits. However, studying, gaining knowledge, pursuing a profession, and making money are not necessarily related. Even if there is a relationship, it's that the former can help establish the latter, but this chain of relationships is weakening day by day. With the development of AI, many jobs can be replaced by machines, and even professions like accounting, law, and computer engineering are among the first to be affected. Of course, being illiterate won't make you wealthy, but the point here is to illustrate that getting good grades, earning a degree, and getting a good job are not as closely related as many people think. Planning what to study based on how to make money is often an illusion. For students like Candace, schools have plenty of career planning strategies, including arranging activities to explore personality and interests, followed by social workers and counselors, and examining different industries. Undoubtedly, these activities broaden students' horizons and are more educationally meaningful than just studying in a small room. However, the foundation of career planning lies in being able to plan one's path for certain years, based on the match between personal interests, personality, and various careers, that is, whether it's suitable or not. In Hong Kong, from 2012 to 2017, under one government term, career planning became popular in secondary schools. More than a decade later, there's no research yet on whether the generation that went through this career planning ended up in the careers they planned for, or if their lives turned out as expected. Life is full of changes, interests, ideals, circumstances, and the world can all change. After planning, there's no guarantee of stability, and the extent to which life can be planned is questionable. Of course, planning is better than having no idea and just wandering aimlessly. The biggest blind spot in career planning is that it overemphasizes learning as being directed towards concrete educational and career endpoints, rather than building students' personal qualities. For example, if a student wants to be a veterinarian, according to a career planning strategies, the student will first be asked to gather information about the veterinary profession. They will quickly find out that to become a veterinarian, they need to study veterinary science at a university and obtain a professional qualification. Currently, no universities in Hong Kong offer veterinary courses, so even if students take introductory courses in Hong Kong, they would eventually need to train overseas. After learning this, students will consider the requirements for studying these courses overseas, such as achieving a certain level in English and biology. After completing the courses, depending on local regulations, they will also need to obtain recognition from a veterinary college or board to practice. All of these steps are actions directed towards a specific endpoint. If this kind of linear thinking is overemphasized, it can easily make students think that learning is conditional, with each action leading to a result. If they can't see the result, they may doubt the value of their action, leading to not trying the best, avoiding, or giving up. However, the meaning of basic education isn't about linear results. It can be said to be about allowing students to weave a web of outcomes through potentially beneficial learning, valuing the shaping of personal qualities more than equipping them with specific knowledge and skills. Using the example of a veterinarian again, even if a student planning to be a veterinarian completes the courses and obtains professional qualifications, if they are careless, unable to communicate with people, and unwilling to spend time on seemingly useless things, what kind of vet would they be? It's hard to imagine a careless engineer, a malicious nurse, or an unimaginative artist. These qualities can be cultivated, especially during childhood and adolescence. Studying subjects like Chinese, English, math, physics, chemistry, history, geography, business, and accounting introduces students to the basics of these subjects. But more importantly, it teaches them how to learn. School education isn't just about academic subjects. Extracurricular activities, social interactions, facing difficulties and failures are all essential parts of basic education, and even more important than academic subjects. These all contribute to shaping personal qualities and are difficult to measure with specific items. Learning and developing oneself allows students to be generally equipped to face the world after completing secondary school, and it requires allowing for development in many aspects, even slightly laissez-faire, because no one can predict what a student will learn from a certain activity. For example, someone joining a basketball team might develop their ball skills, physical fitness, learn to cooperate with teammates, or learn to judge people and follow the crowd. Learning is a multifaceted, multi-angle development, which we can call a three-dimensional issue. Today, when career planning is widely discussed, it's like facing a three-dimensional problem and providing a linear answer. Continuing down this path is like an animal with only two-dimensional vision entering a three-dimensional space, struggling and even blaming the younger generation for lying flat and lacking goals. Who's to blame? If you have any idea or like this video, please comment, like, subscribe and share. I'll be grateful if you become a member on Patreon, making us go even further. See you on the next video.